Imagine this, God has fallen, everything is thrown into chaos, but now it's up to angels to decide who is God. This is the story of Platinum End. After the death of his parents, a young Mirei is left in the care of his abusive relatives. Since then, he has become gloomy and depressed, leading him to attempt suicide on the evening of his middle school graduation. However, he is saved by a pure white girl named Nase, who introduces herself as a guardian angel wishing to give him happiness by granting him supernatural powers and a chance to become the new god. In order to earn the position, he must defeat 12 other god candidates within 999 days. Soon, he begins to struggle to survive as a terrifying battle royale erupts between himself and the candidates looking to obtain this ultimate power. This story sounds great. It's essentially a death game. Whoever's at the top wins and gets a prize. But Platinum End doesn't do that well, and I'll explain why. But before I go on, I want to say that I do not hate this at all, and if you love the series, go for it. But there are a few problems that I have with it that just pull me out of the experience. Platinum End's concept is perfectly fine. Death games are a pretty common genre, especially in shonen, and I love my fair share. Takeshi Obata and Tsugumi Ohba most famous work was practically just a death game. Death Note, except one conducted between two sides, where one party had only investigation skills and police authority, but the other side had a magical book that killed people instantly. What Ohba and Obata writes better than anything else is paper-thin thrillers. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. A story in no way needs to be so deep and bore its reader. Thrillers work better when they are thin because what a thriller relies more heavily on than anything else is a tight control of all of the pieces at play. Light was always going to kill every person who was investigating him. However, that predictable way he would act made it easier to set up scenarios where he is limited by his behavior. He cannot kill L yet because of a list of reasons. His actions lead to consequences that don't favor him. Death Note follows a pretty clear and logical progression in the scale of its conflicts, and the supernatural element, the ability of the Death Note, is defined right away and stays the same for practically the entire series. In the case of Platinum End, though, we see that the main character has gone from a simple goal with one angel helper and two specific arrow abilities to basically becoming a Power Ranger down the line. In Platinum End, humans compete to become the next god, and that's what the story is all about. This reflection is interesting because, like Death Note, yes, I'm sorry I'm compared to it, but it shows God not as a supernatural force, but as a human creation. Even if the angels don't belong to our world, it's finally that man take over the universe by being set up as the supreme authority. And finally, being God is like being the CEO of the company. You have to crush everyone to get there. No need to say the message is clear. Platinum End is a weird series. It has an issue with tension and pacing. There are times when it seems like no one has done anything interesting with their powers, and there is no conflict. Sometimes we get an awesome cliffhanger, but the next chapter or anime episode, the hype goes down, or the goalpost is moved forward another month. Pages are filled with filler panels, if that makes sense. Every chapter has dozens of eyes-glaring panels, while being extremely beautiful, do make one wonder if it's possible to go through the story beats and exposition a bit more quickly. Some of the flaws in Death Note reappear again here. The major conflict between Light and L was resolved by a god of death, which was a cop-out but undermined the respect for the battle. No spoilers, but something similar happens in Platinum End, angel interference, and it's never explained why. It's a shame because there's a lot of great things about the writing. The dialogue is great, the character interaction is amazing, the world feels real, and the concept of the powers has unlimited possibilities. But you can have all these things, but no direction, and that's what I see in Platinum End. The pacing does not become the core issue, rather it develops into its expansion. If you don't want me to compare it solely to Death Note, then look no further at Hunter x Hunter. The Chimera Ant Arc. The Chimera Ant Arc is basically a one-day battle that lasts around 30 anime episodes and like 100 manga chapters, and starts off with a long-ass, never-ending narration. But people like me are still compelled to watch it all throughout. That's why people love Hunter x Hunter. Platinum End, in its failure to contain all these unlimited possibilities and great character interaction, or having focus in any regard, does the quite opposite. It's throwing so much in the face of its audience that it leads to a greater problem: bad pacing. Your readers and watchers have no time to breathe from how the characters get from point A to B, thus making them bored as to why you created this. These are issues I have with the manga, and I can still see it in the anime, and I hope that something changes. If you love this series, that's great, and I respect that, and there are things that I like about it, so I'm not going to trash something that you genuinely love. The music throughout the episodes were sublime. It was able to make the viewer feel whatever emotion it wanted them to feel in an instant. There were a ton of great OSTs dispersed across the duration of the episode. They were all fantastic. There was a Death Note-esque stressful piano alongside a beautiful melody that reminded one of freedom and independence. All good stuff. But this is not Death Note. It's a whole new piece created by the same people of it. And then I was sucked out of it when actually watching the episode. The animation wasn't as good and the weakest part of the show by far. This anime does not do the beautiful art justice at all. A battle royale is naturally going to have a lot of battles featured, and I'm not sure as Signal MD will be able to manage that. The animation in Platinum End Episode 1 was rough in places, and the characters sometimes looked floaty and weightless. That could be an aesthetic of the show that it's going for, but I hope that isn't the case throughout the entire season. We'll see if it does improve anytime soon, and I will tell you what I think about it. I do want to say this, that I don't hate Platinum End, and I don't think it's bad, but there are weak parts that just stick out to me and may deter a lot of people. So back to the title. Should you watch it? Should you read it? No. Sorry.